the fact that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny has the lowest rating on Rotten Tomatoes of all the Indiana Jones films, which is interesting because I actually recently rewatched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's shocking how good it is compared to the stuff that comes out these days.
Did you watch the Dial of Destiny or?
No, it's not out yet.
Oh, okay.
So it's shocking.
This is just the critic score.
And I don't know if I ever saw the Shia LaBeouf one. I don't think I did. I was doing a lot of bad stuff at that time. I might have saw it and I don't remember it. I don't think that's what happened. I don't think I saw it. But it says it's got a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, and theoretically they should love this because 1, it's technically Disney. 2, it's got Phoebe Waller-Bridge, so yeah, feminism. 3, we'll go back. It's Disney. They love Disney over there. So it's got a 52%, but now, not 52, it is lowered to 50%, which means it's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's actually, you know what? My guess would be that the critics didn't know what they wanted from something like this. Meaning, like, do they want a full-on feminist film so that they can say, yeah, girl boss? Or did they want it to be a classic Indiana Jones film? In which case, I question the intelligence of making this movie in his 80s and then having to use de-aging software for part of it. And then he's just, let's face it, Harrison Ford is a fantastic actor, but he's probably better off doing roles that aren't connected to past roles, because then you just see that you're not the person you used to be, right?
If you wanted to go the girl boss route, I would always say, come up with your own franchise instead of hijacking an existing one and then see how that performs.
Well, they never have the guts to do this. But here are some of the reviews. It's funny here. This is from a positive review. This says, what's vexing is the nagging feeling that there are much better Indiana Jones films buried in there somewhere, but it would require a feat of archaeology or at least a rewrite and some judicious editing to excavate it. That was from a review that's labeled positive.
Really?
Yes. It says, fun isn't the most accurate way to describe its excessive antics. There's never a dull moment, but all the globe-trotting hullabaloo does verge on exhausting. It just feels like most of what the reviews I read said it goes from action set piece to action set piece with none of the heart that the original films had. And I just don't know if it's possible. Oh, we got a $20 one right there.
That was from Burgundy Blue. From Thundercat.
Yes.
Random thought, but kids today have no idea about the classic game show Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? 90s culture needs a strong resurgence.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Yes, very correct.
I have no idea what that is.
Also Ghost Rider.
90s culture does...
And Mary, this is where you
We just got a new Indiana Jones film, and you think we need another resurgence? You can't force it. It's not going to come back.
And here's the thing, Mary. What they're talking about is a Channel 2 show, so it's a PBS show, which means that you get to tell everybody how evil PBS is. Because it's evil, right? Barney, evil.
It's government programming. So.
It says, an adventure that, despite stripping itself of all fan service air feels simulated and forced. Of course, because you're taking an 80-year-old dude and trying to plug him into a role that he excelled at when he was much, much younger.
Well, you're also
and the culture was different.
Yeah, you're trying to take a how many years old franchise at this point? What is it? How many decades?
Oh God, 4 decades now.
4 decades,
right? Yeah.
Old franchise.
Yeah,
and trying to make that young again.
Yep.
And the nostalgia just ain't hitting.
Nope.
Make something new.
It's a disappointing facsimile of much better Indiana Jones films that preceded it. Yeah, exactly. So it just is what it is. And then they get into talking about de-aging and the whole process of de-aging here, right?
Did you see a bunch of people talking about Phoebe Waller-Bridge being ugly on Twitter? They were all insulting Phoebe Waller-Bridge and saying that she's not pretty enough to be a film star. All the wall tweets.
She's just a woman. I pass no judgments on her.
I think she's really pretty.
I've only seen recent pictures of her with a haircut that I don't think frames her face very well, and that
I think she's just not yassified enough for today's tastes. But she has a classic look to her.
Yeah, I kind of see what you mean there. What's her name? Jane Tierney?
She doesn't look fake.
Yeah.
She looks like a natural beauty.
So
how do you think that the de-aging was done? Do you think it looks...
No, I think it looks good.
Good? I
does.
think so,
It
actually.
does.
I
Like,
rarely do.
It's I think Marvel and Disney excel at the de-aging. I always thought that Sam Jackson looked good when he was de-aged, especially in that photo right there. And I've only seen the trailers. I haven't seen the film yet. So in the scenes that I saw there, very reminiscent of what I saw the first time I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's just so ironic that we're only de-aging the classic male movie stars because of the drought of masculinity in Hollywood, and we can't recognize that as the root of the problem.
Do you think they're going to do it with the women eventually too?
No, because you can always cycle those out.
Just find new women?
Yeah. That's what they're doing
replaceable.
anyway. There are already young female actresses out there in their 20s and 30s. They asked Harrison Ford what he thought of the de-aging at a press conference for the screening, and he said, "I know that is my face. It's not a kind of Photoshop magic. That's what I looked like 35 years ago. Because Lucasfilm has every frame of film that we've made together over all these years, and this process, this scientific mining of the library, this has to be put to good use. It's just a trick unless it's supported by a story, and it sticks out like a sore thumb if it's not honest, it's not real. I mean, emotionally real." And so I think it was used very skillfully.
Yeah.
But we'll never know if they actually did more than de-aging and really deep faked emotions onto his face.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to disclose that.
It's 40. It'll be 42 years old this year. The Raiders of the Lost Ark. So,
Like, why don't we have anything that will be cherished 42 years from now?
is there? Okay, here's a good
Nothing
question.
new is going to be cherished 42 years from now.
Are there any movies that? Yeah, I want to ask that question.
Nothing.
You don't think there's chat? You guys let us know. Are there
We
any
don't
movies?
have evergreen, truly beloved new franchises
Yeah.
in this day and age. What are we going to do?
Fast and Furious.
This is not sustainable.
Fast and Furious 40 years from now, when Dom is in a wheelchair,
It's like,
racing wheelchairs.
yeah, like the way that Hollywood is going, this is not a sustainable path.
Yeah.
We can't just keep, and it's the fact that all the content sucks, and the fact that we don't have masculine movie stars anymore. Like,
Well, that's why I keep saying Alan Ritchson needs to get all the work. The dude is a Chad. The dude is
How
tall.
old is he?
He's in his 30s.
Okay.
He's a little. I think he's a little bit older than me. He's either a little bit older or a little bit younger than me. But he's
they're also citing Robert Pattinson as one of the last male movie stars, and or like the youngest male movie stars, and he's 37 at this point. So he's already getting up there.
I do believe that whether you think they're masculine or not, because they're not. Timothy Chalamet but they're movie stars. They are movie stars. Timothy Chalamet and Tom Holland are movie stars, even if they're not masculine.
I guess I'm more so talking about like star power plus true masculinity, like hair on his arms. Like, you can't fake that.
It's not a wide shot, but I'm sorry. This dude is the living embodiment of the Chad meme. He has become the Chad.
They've like put something in the water.
Yeah.
Like Gen Z and millennials they look different than, like, at the same age. They look younger.
Here you go. Here's a
guys
picture
did
of
in
him
their
from.
30s.
Here's a picture of him from Reacher. He's enormous compared to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could be an action star.
Yeah.
He could if they needed him to be. Like, and he's a good actor. And Henry Cavill's muscular. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, Henry Cavill's up there. Even like when they talk about it, like Ben Affleck, when he played Batman, got ripped to do that role. Like,
Is anyone under 50 considered young now?
that's
That's kind of crazy to me. Like, if you're in your 40s, I wouldn't consider you like up and coming.
yeah.
There's no one new on the scene, like in their 20s or like early 30s,
Well, let's see.
that fits the bill.
Alan Ritchson was born. It doesn't. 82. So he's older than me. So he's born in 82.
Yeah.
So he's 40.
Like, I just
40,
don't.
41.
Who's under like 35?
Oh, there's a
Deuce Boogaloo said Alan Richardson is not a Chad. That's a Thad.
yes, Blue Mountain
Thad
State.
Castle. Blue Men State Forever.
Yeah, Blue Mountain State forever. Yeah, he's both. We'll say he's both. You guys have to see him in the Fast and Furious. It's so funny because he's a combination of just enormous compared to everybody else, but he's also got like this perfectly done hair, and his beard looks like it's trimmed with a slide ruler. Like it's fantastic. Like he looks like he could play both very, very good superheroes because he can, and he looks like he could play just as good a villain. And he's very, very, or maybe is he just muscular because there's so much less of that in Hollywood? But I would argue
stands out because there's a drought of that.
But I would also argue that most of the men in Hollywood are in good, they're in good shape. They're just not masculine, right? Like one of the things Tom Cruise gave an interview in like 1996 where he said the number one advice he would give most actors, he goes, get in shape and stay in shape because first of all, you're in a visual medium. And you need to look good.
Who said that?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah.
Said get in shape and stay in shape because one, you're in a visual medium. It's going to inform your ability to get roles. Two, it's going to affect your confidence. I was watching an old episode of Something Else recently, and this actor he's playing like a flubby lawyer. He's like a left-wing lawyer activist who's there to like bail out some bad guy or some like protesters. I don't remember what the show is. And like he talks about how he got beat up by a cop and he takes his sweater vest off and his shirt to show them the bruises, and the dude's got a full six-pack and defined pecs, but the dude's flubby and like they've dressed him in a way that makes him look like like he's non-threatening. I think a lot of those men in Hollywood would have what you'd call like a swimmer's physique.
Okay.
Like they're in shape, but they're not masculine.
Sure. If
that makes sense. And I'm not saying that swimmer's physique isn't something that masculine people have. I'm just saying that they're portrayed that way because it's aesthetically pleasing, not bulky.
We need to just give actors TRT at this point.
Just to put it in their food.
Like start sneaking testosterone into Timothée Chalamet's diet.
He can't figure it out. He's like, why is my voice getting deeper?
Didn't Tom Cruise also say stay the hell away from the Marvels?
Oh yeah, he said stay away from superhero movies.
Or superhero franchises.
Yeah.
He's right. Later. He's right. And also something that Marvel makes
Jason
a habit
Momoa.
of doing is like grabbing flubby actors and then making it a marketing ploy to like have them get in shape for their movies.
Kumail Nanjiani in Marvel.
Even Chris Pratt would fit that bill because he was like chubbier before.
Yep. Jason Momoa is still a buff dude. I actually felt like they had him get a little bit out of shape for the Fast and the Furious role. Like he had some paunch that is definitely not normally there.
Or they just didn't enforce it. But how old is he?
He's in his 40s.
Okay.
He's older. Like he was in the original Baywatch.
Yeah.
In the 90s. So that's it is but he's got like the aesthetic and he's got a face born for like that face is something he's got a camera ready face that's interesting looking. Like he commands the screen.
Gen Z is just like being raised on microplastics and endocrine disruptors and fluoride in the water and red dye 40 and iPad blue light.
It really is
something's just really profoundly messed up about my generation. Like
maybe
we all like male and female in Gen Z look younger than previous generations did at the same age.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very strange. And why is this not being investigated further? I really find it disturbing.
Yeah. A lot of it people say it's the lack of like they just don't have the hardship that previous generations had.
Is it just that?
They're not going to war.
Is it the nurture?
Yeah.
Or is it nature? I don't know.
Like I don't know if that's the answer, but a lot of people say like, look, if people went to war more, they would, because that's the thing. You look at a lot of old actors, and you're like, wow, that guy looks old. He's like in his 30s.
War is not good, but like maybe we should sanction controlled environments of simulated danger for young men these days.
Like he's got the facial hair, he's got everything going for him.
Yeah.
Give the guy all the action roles.
We just don't it's almost like you're not allowed to be masculine in Hollywood now.
No, you're not.
Like the door on that is closed.
Or they let it for a few. Like, listen, that's why the Fast and Furious gets what it deserves the success that it gets, right? Because they allow the men to be masculine men. Brie Larson doesn't come in and emasculate Dom. Mm-hmm. Dom just gets to be there and be the.
She would in real life.
Probably. But it is what it is. Like I don't know if it ends up if any of this ends up changing. I actually thought it was interesting.
Look, Harrison Ford is 80 years old, and they asked him if he was interested in further installments of this franchise. He's 80 years old.
They're like, when you're dying,
he's gonna be on a ventilator, and they're gonna be wheeling him out for another installment of Indiana Jones. I mean, he clearly said that he's not interested. He said, "Is it not evident? I need to sit down and rest a little bit." Like,
can I die in peace?
Yeah,
please?
you're literally like knocking down this man's door for his next role, and he's just like he's past his prime.
Yep.
The wall exists for both sexes. Maybe you could say it's later for men, but like 80 is definitely past that. Like he's beyond the hill.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yep.
And the fact that they would even ask that question just shows how desperate we are for real masculine actors now.
I really don't know if it's coming. And what's interesting is like one of the actors who's in this franchise is Jason Statham, and he's kind of an earlier example of someone like he's a masculine dude, but he wasn't super over the top buff. He's just a normal looking dude with a shaved head, and he pulled off. I love the first 2 Transporter movies so much. So it is what it is. As far as Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, we'll go. Like I think we'll go and see it, but I don't have high hopes for this at all. Much like I don't have high hopes for The Little Mermaid on Thursday.
I mean, yeah, that too.
People are saying like maybe Gen Z should be playing more sports and spending less time on TikTok.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like controlled environments of simulated danger. I'm not about to
play hockey.
Endorse like sending young men off to war. Like I'm not pro military industrial complex.
Yep.
But like guys aren't even allowed to do that anymore.
Nope.
Without like it's either women encroaching on men's spaces these days or men encroaching on women's spaces. No one can have their own thing.
It's because they want to turn everything upside down and inside out. Like everything has to be in the interest of subverting expectations. Like that's why Fast and the Furious works, because the guys are guys, the women are badass, but they're not making the men look bad. So. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye guys.